Magic. Final score of 108-85. Mitchell and I are going to dive into the entire game. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Another Mavs Podcast, a weekly show about your Dallas Mavericks and the official pod of MFFL.
I'm gonna never get tired of that intro. We're never changing that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think we can, but it's growing. The AI is really growing on me. But welcome to Another Mavs Podcast. We're just another Mavs podcast, but we're a weekly show about your Dallas Mavericks. I'm Jake Rafis, creator of MFFL. Joining me weekly is my good friend and Yahoo fantasy user, Mitchell Jackson. How are we feeling, Mitchell?
I'm good. I talked to the execs at Yahoo. I think we may have a partnership coming in soon. Feeling good. It's been an interesting week in Dallas Mavericks basketball, but always good to end the week on a massive dub. Looked like it was going to be a 40-point one, but garbage time got ugly, and we are finishing with a 23-point dub. A win's a win, no matter what. Feeling good.
Mitchell, to have a win that you don't have to sweat, I mean, that alone is something we haven't had in a while, something we haven't had all season, and man, it feels good.
Feels good. Yeah, I don't know if there's too much that you can really take away from it other than, you get back on after almost getting embarrassed by Houston. The final score didn't look too ugly, but man, that was an ugly one. Orlando missing their best player, Paolo Banchero. Rest in peace. On my fantasy team, I will miss him dearly. But yeah, they're out of sorts. And it's funny because that team really reminds me of like 2018 Dallas Mavericks, where, one player for us back then, it was Luka that like hid so many flaws. You take Banchero out of the Orlando Magic, they go from like a play-in team to like a lottery team. And It's just insane. So, wish them the best, but man, they got a lot to figure out without him.
Man, he was looking like an MVP caliber player. I know you on your fantasy team, you've seen that firsthand.
Yeah, I think it was last week when he dropped. I want to say he dropped 50. I may be a little off. It may have been the mid 40s, but I went into the player chat and I was like, "Is that Paolo Chamberlain?" And it got like 150 dislikes, but nah, I don't know. I'm a big fan of his. I think he's going to be a future star for sure.
I didn't know there's 150 people on Yahoo, but I do have to say, Mitchell, the first episode 1, this is episode 2, obviously, but episode 1, the biggest takeaway from everyone, coworkers, family, friends, Twitter followers, DMs, you name it, was all about Mitchell using Yahoo Fantasy does not get enough slander, and I'd like to give you a chance to respond to that.
Dude, I'm going to be honest. I had no problems in like the near decade that I've done it. I actually, I'll die on the hill. It was probably one of the better apps, but I don't know. They tried to like redo it. We talked about it a little bit last week, but it's an insufferable app these days. I hope they go back. If not, I'll make the transfer over to ESPN or wherever everyone else is, so I don't have to take hate for my fantasy options.
It's like the green text of fantasy. I think everyone's on Sleeper, ESPN, but regardless, this second pod is sponsored by Yahoo Fantasy Basketball.
Yeah,
Unofficially, officially.
They love it. They need all the help.
Before we dive into it, Mitchell, I wanna tell the listeners about some sushi that we had the other day. I'm new to the sushi game, but Mitchell, just tell the crowd a little bit about that experience.
I wish I could make like a fire sound, but I don't know how it sounds. It's like or like whoosh. No, it was good. It was really good. That place it's a new one for me, Little Katana. Apparently
choked on my water.
We got laugh tracks? Is this Seinfeld?
I clicked on that accidentally, but it worked. It worked well.
Okay, so now we're another Mavs pod and a 90s sitcom. That's cool. No, yeah, that place was really good. I'm not gonna lie. I went kind of basic, white boy. got the teriyaki chicken entree with a spicy tuna roll. Y'all kind of branched out. You went bougie on me with the Wagyu roll. Looked good. But yeah, I'd go back.
So the Wagyu was a little bit of a scam. I've never tried Wagyu, so you're making me sound bougie over here. But I ordered it for $15, and it was like a 1 inch by 1 inch piece, and thankfully it was cooked. But man, it was really good. But I don't know. I was expecting like a whole fillet. I should have known because I think it's like $12 an ounce. So I should have known better. But yeah, I had a raw salmon roll. I don't usually get raw, but that place was fire. So that can be our unofficial second sponsor of the pod.
Little Katana, shout out Little Katana in Carrollton. That waitress looked like she was going through it last night. Said she's never been that busy. It was a Saturday night after all, so I don't know. I don't know if that place is in growth mode or if they just, I don't know what they were doing out there, but shout out to
Right.
her. She did good.
Right. So that was Los Colinas. We got to make sure we plug the right one. But I'm telling you, the reason why it was so packed, 1 week prior on a Saturday, I left a 5-star review, gassed them up, talking about best sushi in the world. And that was the lone reason why it was enough about
said-
sushi. But Mitchell,
You said,
Go
eat
ahead, go
this
ahead.
fish from MFFL, and everybody came.
quote unquote, tis bussing. But I love how we're a solid, 7 minutes in and haven't even talked about the game. But transitioning onto the game, Mitchell, save us. What was your biggest takeaway from the basketball game that occurred tonight?
Sir Luka Doncic is back, ladies and gentlemen. Several games skid from him. Love to see it. Yes, bring the clap track in. Yes. Yes. So
Man, that went on for 45 seconds. I had to cut the clap track off a little early.
almost a triple double. Looks like he had 9 rebounds, 7 assists, and 32 points on a plus 21. Everybody played efficient tonight. D Live, he was plus 25. Man, like all the starters played fire. Honestly, Daniel Gafford didn't get enough love. 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 1 steal. So getting it done.
Yeah, that's the way to put it. They got it done, and Luka Doncic is back. I mean, he had a slow start, and you're starting to wonder about conditioning or whatever it may be that caused that slow start. But he's back. I mean, we can't complain. And I mean, yeah, you read it right off. 11 for 22, not necessarily the best field goal percentage, but regardless, close enough to 50%. 9 rebounds, 7 assists. We'll take it. 32 points. I mean, I love it.
I mean, look, on the first night of a back-to-back, and you can get your starters out with like 10 minutes left in the fourth. You take that any day of the week. Any day of
Right.
the week.
Right. And I was hating on the field goal percentage. It is 50%. So I digress. But
We're not going to talk about the 3-point. I mean, 5 of 13.
Hey,
the
I
math
ignored that.
isn't mathing, bro. But I don't know if that's close to 40%. I don't know. Maybe it is. It looks like 37. I'm not a math guy.
Yeah, I'm not either. I think we're 37, 38-ish. But regardless, something I did want to talk about, Mitchell, that I'd love to hear your thoughts on is, do the Dallas Mavericks have the best front court and back court duos in the entire NBA?
I got to think about that for a second. I don't want to be biased. It's definitely up there. And look, this is what we were talking about in last week too. Gafford or Lively. Tonight you saw. I don't think it matters, right? I mean, they both played about equal minutes. Gafford 20 minutes. Lively 20. Yeah, they literally played the same exact minutes. If they can split those minutes and you get equal or better production from either one, like you're solid there. And yeah, I mean, Kyrie, Clay kind of struggled tonight. I don't know who in the West, when it's all said and done, can beat us. I really don't, and I'm not trying to be like a fangirl, but like I
Right.
don't see it.
Yeah, I don't either. And going back to that point I made, though, backcourt, I think you can't argue that we have the number one backcourt. I mean, we're talking Luka and Kyrie. That's undisputed number one. But front court, I'm trying to think about good front court duos, and I might have to Google it. But it's hard to dispute.
Cleveland has a good Cleveland has a good front court. Is it still Jared Allen and Evan Mobley?
Yeah.
So that's a good one. Aaron Gordon and Nikola Jokic.
Jokic.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's pretty.
I'm trying to
tough.
think of off the top of my head who else. Maybe. Yeah,
Who's the Thunder center that's hurt? I mean, him and Chet will be good once they're healthy.
bro. I can never keep up with the OKC's lineup. They have so many good prospects that I feel like it's like.
Well, it was the guy they got in the offseason from. Man, I'm blanking. They got him from. Man, this is gonna.
Not me
kill
pulling up
So-
the roster. Hang on, I got an answer for you soon. They don't even have a center listed on their
It was the big-
team.
It was their big offseason adjustment from the Knicks. From the Knicks.
Wow, this is embarrassing. Everybody's leaving the pod as we're trying to figure this out.
It's Isaiah something or another. Hartenstein.
Oh, yeah, I don't know, man. I've never been really a fan of him. I feel like he's just a really good role player. I thought for a
I mean,
second you
he
were
got
talking about
paid.
Adam Flagler, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Flagler.
Steven Adams. Nick Collison, is that who you're referring to?
Oh, man. If you had an Adam Flagler mention on your bingo board tonight, ladies and gentlemen, you just won the grand prize. But no, if not the best, I would say top three. Top three.
Looking at front courts, yeah, they list Tatum and Porzingis, but I would argue,
Oh,
I mean,
dude.
that's not even a front court. Tatum's
I mean, Timberwolves, Gobert and Randall. That's pretty fire.
Randall, Mr. Spin Move 5000. Well, that
Why
was
is
up
it-
there, especially last year when it was Cat and Gobert.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. They didn't gel very well. Okay, before we move on, we're on OKC. And again, I hate to talk fantasy all the time, but one of my weakest pickups, and I picked him up really early, was Alex Caruso. Because, bro, he was almost leading the league in steals last year. So I was like, okay, that's easy. That man has been booty cheeks for them.
Well, the problem is that team is deep, man. They have a lot of weapons and a lot of good players, and they're playing really good ball. So I'm surprised he's been so inefficient for Yahoo
yeah.
Fantasy.
He's 30 years old, and I think he is the oldest on their team, which is so odd that 30 is like old man status.
Right.
But, shout out to them. Hopefully he can turn it around for me. I'm selfish. I need it.
Hey, there's nothing selfish about it. I respect it. What about Kyrie? I mean, what do you think about Kyrie's performance tonight, Mitchell?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm like a Kyrie. I love Kyrie. I love everything he does, on and off the court. I think he's a great human being.
Agreed.
He showed up in points, didn't really do too much to facilitate. I'm seeing 3 assists, 2 rebounds. Again, first night of the back-to-back, you got to think, like, how hard were some of these people trying? It almost felt like a glorified scrimmage to me from the – because, like, I don't know, you just knew you were so much better, right? It's crazy to
Right.
me that the line was Dallas by 6.5. I don't know.
Yeah, the way you just phrased it, it felt like a preseason game or a scrimmage is a really good way to put it because it just seemed like even the Mavs, they got off to a commanding lead, but I mean, they won every quarter except for the fourth, but it really did seem like almost slow motion or, yeah, to your point, though, without Paolo, it's like, we're going to win. But the nice thing is we actually know we're going to win. Back in the day, these are the games that we would drop.
Yes, and that's what separates you from being an average team from an elite team. Like you're gonna get some gimmies this year,
Right.
and we're gonna see a lot of that. I wanted to ask you, moving forward, I want to see what our week looks like this week. You got the Pacers tomorrow night. Wow, you got the Pacers and then the Bulls on the 6th. And then Friday, you got Phoenix. Okay, so it's like you get 2 freebies and then you get 2 kind of tough ones. Your week is Pacers, Bulls, Suns, Nuggets.
Yeah, every team in the NBA plays tomorrow, which is really cool.
Yeah. Um, Off night on Tuesday. There's definitely nothing happening on Tuesday. Um, I want your prediction. What's our record at the end of next week? I'm gonna hold you to this in episode 3.
Let me pull up the schedule myself. All right. So back to back, you say it's a gimme. I mean, man, I in theory, sure. So we'll count the win tomorrow. Win against the Bulls. I mean, man, we've been they're playing gospel music at practice, so I'm telling you, there's something to that there. Okay, so win tomorrow. Win against the Bulls. I'll say they drop the Suns game again and beat the Nuggets. So 3-1.
I'm gonna agree with you. If I had to think of one game to lose besides that, I would say maybe you drop against the Pacers.
Off a
Because the
back-to-back.
Pacers, they were talking about it on the broadcast tonight. When we lost to the Pacers last year, I think it was just after, no, it was a little bit later than the All-Star break. That's when they had the team meeting. And when
I heard
then
that
we
on the
went,
broadcast too.
yeah, and then we went God mode after that. But I don't know. We've always struggled against the Pacers. It's a Rick Carlisle revenge game. So, that's his Super Bowl.
Dude, the thing about the NBA, like, I don't want to talk about the Rockets game much, but after we lost that, I was like, man, it's NBA. It's such a three-point shooting game, and we're such a three-point shooting team. Granted, we have Gaff and Lively, but if we have an off night, we could fall against any of these teams.
True.
And in an 82-game season, you take games off. So I always thought it was funny to, like, pick wins, especially before the season or even during the season, because, man, there's really no predicting it. Like, that Houston game was disgusting. I'm glad our post-game pod wasn't scheduled for then, but
No,
man.
For sure. But that's the beauty of this team. There's 3-point shooting. You got some offensive guys, but defense travels. It shows up every night. And that's why you like guys like PJ. You like guys like Najee Marshall. Najee Marshall's still struggling really hard. Will he ever make a 3-point shot? I don't know. But does he show up and play defense? Yes.
21 minutes tonight, he looked pretty good. But
I liked it. I mean, +9.
man,
But
he just needs one three-pointer to go. I'm telling you, he's a good career three-point shooter. He'll be fine.
no, he is. I agree. I'm kind of being dramatic, but that's why you like to lean on. You can lean on your defense sometimes. Maybe
Right.
not in the Houston game, but I don't know. That's just Dylan Brooks getting under people's skin. That's not an every night thing.
Man, Dylan Brooks. It was good, too, to see Grimes hit a three. I mean, he didn't do anything crazy, but if anything, it's just good to see a three go for those new guys since they got off to a slow start. But you're right. Defensively, we are a good team, especially with those guys. Clay's still continuing, even in off-night shooting, to impress me on defense. So, I'm
Two
excited.
blocks. We didn't talk about that. I mean, we're seeing a different Clay. Something a little bit different than Golden State. Yes, he's kind of still that spot-up shooter, but he's playing both sides of the ball, man.
I hate plus-minus more than any stat in the entire world, but Derek Lively plus 25, I mean, that's got to correlate to him being the best player in the world, and IMO.
Wait, are you not an analytics nerd?
Man, I like analytics, but plus-minus. Like, I remember back in the day when Dwight Powell would be, like, plus 12, and he'd play 2 minutes. I'm like, man, come on.
It's just
That
that
stat-
much of a game changer, man. What are you talking about?
That stat is so fake. Tonight, he was a team – oh, not a team worst, but he was -6.
Okay,
A
but
team worst -8 in 9 minutes.
I'm going to be real. I'm going
It's
to be
a fake
real.
stat.
What we saw in garbage time tonight was like some of the ugliest basketball I've seen in a long time. I think you can go to a rec center and probably see better basketball than what we've seen in garbage time. But
As a frequent LA Fitness rec center player, I would agree with that. But we can wrap it up. We're getting close to the 20-minute mark. But college hoops. Anything you want to say? Another college hoops season starting. Mitchell, you want to let them know you're a big fan of Lions?
Yeah, so I am a big Texas Tech fan. Not so much in football. We're not quite there yet, but basketball is where I live. I love Texas Tech basketball. I'll go ahead and say my Final Four. Texas Tech is not in it. I think they're a Sweet 16 team. I'm gonna go Duke, Creighton, UConn, Iowa State.
Write that down, folks. Write that down.
Any fans of the pod, and if you want to talk college hoops, let me know. I love that sport. It's the best time of the year for me. I don't even need to be in March. Put me in November. I'll watch non-con all day long.
Everyone, stop paying your mortgage and bet the house on that Final Four. In all seriousness, though, I love college hoops. Oklahoma State's my team, and unfortunately, we're bad in basketball and football. But just wait on it. I'm out at the bandwagon Tech this year. Hopefully, Mitchell and I will get out to a game. But regardless, Mitchell, any final closing thoughts tonight?
Yeah, I'll see you Saturday night for some sushi at Little Katana. Shout out to the sponsor, Yahoo Sports, and all 7 of us still using the app. And have a good week, ladies and gentlemen. And hopefully we see some good basketball from the Mavs. And other than that, man, it's been fun.
It's been real fun. Episode 2, we're out. Mavs win again, 108-85. Mitchell is fun. Let's run it back next week. As
Yes,
always,
sir.
go Mavs.
Luka's back!
Solid.
That was
Solid.
A good one. That was a
It
good
already
one.
I thought so too. Dude, it already says upload complete. I think the video is really slowing me down.